Hello, Alabama. It's so good to see how well you've recovered from the hurricane. When you look around here, it's like it never happened. I tell you, there's no place I'd rather be during this impeachment vote in the Senate. I came to a football game here last year and the crowd went wild. The whole place went wild. You've never seen anything like it. I have a friend who works at one of the concession stands and he said, "Mr. Trump, I've never seen anything like this before." That was a few days after I went to the World Series. The same day I killed bin Laden, and the crowd loved me there too. For some reason they started chanting, "Lick it up, lick it up." You know that song by Kiss? With the video where they didn't wear their makeup? Always wear your makeup, folks. Always wear your makeup. You never know when you're gonna have to stage a situation room photo 90 minutes after a terrorist gets killed when you're fucking around on the golf course. But I gotta tell you, Alabama, I'm a little mad at you for not voting Roy Moore into the Senate. Instead, you put in a very angry Democrat who's probably gonna vote against me today. But it's okay, I understand that Roy was a very flawed candidate, like a dog. The people of Alabama are very forgiving, but if there's one thing you won't tolerate here, it's when a grown man doesn't know how to ride a fucking horse. Unforgivable. Unforgivable. But if we're being honest, folks, that's not the only thing that was cringeworthy about him. 'Cause if there's two things the people of Alabama won't tolerate, it's not being able to ride a horse and holding up a gun which is way too small. My doctor once told me that everybody has two Achilles heels, and those were Roy's. And speaking of heels in Alabama, what about Jeff Sessions? Recuses himself from being my general attorney. But it's okay, folks, because now I have Bill Barr, who is truly a disgusting piece of shit in every sense of the word. But he's my disgusting piece of shit. But let's be real. Even if this total witch hunt, fake impeachment hearing ends with them voting me out, you know as well as I do that I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, folks. 'Cause we've got all the tough people on our side. The cops, the troops, the bikers, the Incredible Hulk, all the tough people. Everybody with guns. Remember Obama wanted to confiscate your guns? And how he said we need to take common sense steps to stop mass shootings from happening? But now I'm your president. And I once said, on camera, that we should take people's guns away first and then go through due process. Obama just wasn't tough like me, folks. He wasn't tough like me. He was always against the Iraq War. And I was opposed to the war from the start. He was afraid to fight. He just wanted to talk to foreign dictators, and without preconditions. You call that leadership? When I heard Kim Jong-un wanted to meet, I said, "You get me on a plane to North Korea. No ifs, ands, or buts." And by the way, if Hillary Clinton was your president, Kim would have marched his way south and invaded Seoul, and everybody there would be speaking Korean now. So we can thank our lucky stars that she didn't win. You think Hillary could have built the big beautiful wall that I built on the southern border of Colorado and other places?
Build that wall.
But they wouldn't have impeached her like they've done to me over a perfect phone call where there was no quid pro quo. No quid pro quo. It was just a trade. This military aid for that dirt on Biden.
This for that. This for that. This for that.
That's right, folks. And is that a baby crying? Get him out! Get him out. You know what? Instead of that, I've got an even better idea. Looking out over the crowd, I'm seeing that a lot of you brought your kids here. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's have all the kids come up on stage. And then, folks, we're gonna kill them. I'm gonna murder them all right in front of you. What do you think of that? That's right, folks. I'm gonna commit mass child homicide on live television. And there's nothing the angry Democrats can do about it. Because you can't indict a sitting president. And besides, there's gonna be no witnesses. Since you and everyone watching at home are not allowed to talk about it because of executive privilege. What's that? Oh, they're telling me the vote is in. Let's put it up on the Jumbotron. Will you look at that, folks? I guess we won't have to declare martial law just yet, which is good, because our great marshals across this country are already very overworked. 53 to 47. Get real. There's no way it was that close. We're gonna do a little investigation. And we're gonna find out that a lot of those 47 guilty votes were cast by illegal immigrants. But it's okay, we'll worry about that later. Folks, we've heard a lot of stories about some Republicans who say some very nasty things about me behind closed doors. Some very nasty things. But they kiss my ass in public, and they vote for me to stay in office. And that's because they are scared to fucking death of you people. Because they know that you're all a bunch of filthy animals who will stick with me no matter what, and might even commit violence against them. You know, a lot of mathematicians will say that 40% is less than half. But if the 40% sticks together no matter what, well, the other side just fights over who's pure and who's not. And if millions of them don't even vote just because they don't agree with their nominee 100% of the time, then we're gonna keep on winning elections we have absolutely no business winning. Unbelievable, isn't it? 'Cause all they'd have to do is vote, and then for me that's all she wrote, but they would rather shit on all their leaders. Brilliant! Whoever's their best hope, they're gonna label a turncoat. They huff, and they puff. If they don't think you're woke enough, they cancel. They purge, and my chances of re-election surge. They vote Jill Stein, and then when I win, they bitch online. So 40%'s enough for me. The media will latch onto something stupid. Email and act like Democrats are just as bad as us. They'll portray the nominee as equivalent to me. Progressives will say he's too flawed. Secure the circular firing squad. Swing voters will assume there is no difference. Really? Even though I'm worse than Wesley Allen Dodd. I lie, I sin, and yet somehow I'll win again. I flub, I fail, but still I'll manage to prevail, 'cause I fill the halls with just enough Neanderthals. That 40%'s enough for me, Yes, 40%'s enough for me. That's right, folks. Liberals outnumber us, even in every swing state, but not enough of them will vote for the Democrat, even if it means getting rid of me, in favor of a president who makes public statements which are based in reality and not whatever he thinks will be the most useful to him in that moment. And even if it means having a president who doesn't vilify the free press, or encourage police violence, or sing the praises of Nazis. Even if it means no longer having an aspiring dictator in the White House who makes major geopolitical decisions based on what's best for the world's worst tyrants. And instead, having a stable and steady commander-in-chief who we won't have to worry about starting a war over something completely stupid and petty. And who won't send troops to the border or shut down the government over a xenophobic, childish fantasy. Even if it means rejoining the rest of the world and fighting the existential threat of climate change. And expanding access to healthcare for the millions who still need it. Not to mention no longer threatening to take it away from the millions who finally have it now. Even if it means appointing people to lead government organizations who haven't spent their entire lives trying to destroy them. And stopping the flow of right-wing judges to the bench. And having a president who doesn't surround himself with career criminals. Even if it means releasing untold thousands of children from cages. And doing our level best to reunite them with the families they were torn away from for the express purpose of abject cruelty. Even if it means no longer having a proud serial sexual predator in the White House. Even if it means that the most powerful man on the face of the planet will no longer be a stone-cold fucking sociopath. And why won't they vote for all those things to change even though they scream all the time that that's what they want more than anything? Because, folks, they don't want to win. Because then they'd have to own everything done by the person they put in charge. They'd much rather have somebody they hate be in power than someone who understands that just because you can't make things perfect doesn't mean you shouldn't settle for making things better. So that's where we are, folks. They don't want to win. And we don't want to govern. Even in a dire situation where everybody, socialists and libertarians alike, are asking for the government to help. Let's say the worst case scenario happens, and some global crisis begins. A month from now. I'll do nothing to prepare for it and will completely shit the bed while the bodies of both Democrats and Republicans pile up. And folks, nothing will change. You people are all gonna vote for me, and all the liberals who are too pure to vote for a moderate Democrat will refuse to acknowledge how many more people will die if I stay in office than who will if I'm ousted. They could save thousands of lives by swallowing their pride for long enough to check a fucking box. But they won't do it. Will they? Will they? Will they?
4 more years.
Get off the fucking stage, you two.
Yes, Father.